Well, welcome back to another episode of the Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's up?
Tired today, but all is well.
I feel like you're tired every day.
No, not every day. Some days I'm fired up. You know that.
Literally every single day I've talked to you for the past week, it's been I'm tired today.
Well, it's also because we're nonstop the last 2 weeks. So
yeah, what's that all about?
I don't know. Apparently people want us to talk to people. It's weird. But we're in my basement, for those that don't know, and we are mid-construction on the studio build-out, so that's amazing. So first and foremost, I think we should say thanks to Mr. V, we'll call him to keep his identity secret.
Oh, yeah.
And
not Gary V, even though he did have a lot to do with this, too.
Gary V had literally nothing to do with this, but Mr. V did, and we appreciate his expertise and all of his infinite wisdom so that it didn't come out like a 3-year-old playing with Legos.
So if you and I did it without his help, do you think we would have figured it out? It would have just taken twice as long, or do you think that we wouldn't have figured it out and walls would have been twisted?
We would still be there trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we never would have left that day. We would still be there trying to figure it out. It'd be a dumpster fire. There were too many intricate things that you would only know if you've done it before. Like, it just would have been a disaster.
Have you ever... So you've never put up a wall before?
I mean, yeah, but not like that.
Yeah.
Like, we've made sections, you know, but nothing to that extent where you're literally framing in a door basically to code.
Everything is to code. Yeah,
and for those that asked or, you know, texted or whatever throughout the process, the pictures that were up were mid-construction, essentially, so it wasn't 100% done. So by the time we were actually done, those photos were progress pics. So by the time we were done, it was to code. So everything's all fine. You don't have to, you know, be like, "Oh, you sure? What about this?" Chill out. So yeah, I'm fired up to have that wall insulated the way it is. There's a ton of insulation in there, so that's super exciting. And then now we're just rolling into the next set of projects to finish it. So we're still like a week out, but it's fine.
The most satisfying part of that whole process, and I've watched these videos of like this old house or whatever it's called. There's a YouTube channel on it. No free shout outs, but they kind of are what guided my whole perception on how this works. But the best, most satisfying part is when you build the wall, and it's laying down on the floor, and then you lift it up, and then when you lift it up, it fits perfectly in place, and you just have to kind of hammer it into the exact spot, but it fits so snug. Yeah. Because we're down to our measurements. We killed it.
There was a lot of confirming measurements, but it was fun. And then, yeah, as long as you got the right tools, that's all you need.
Which really, there wasn't like a ton that we needed. There's a lot that we had that made things easier.
Correct.
But the tools that, like, anybody can build a wall.
Correct.
It's really not that difficult.
No.
It's just time consuming. You have to be exact. And it helps to have somebody there that knows what they're doing.
Having someone with 41 years experience is a huge help.
Yeah.
Huge help.
He's a GC, general contractor. So he kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah. So that's it. We're fired up. And then once everything's done, you basically won't even recognize the old spot. And then for mega fans, the outlet that's behind me in the studio is fixed. There's no gap.
Which is huge.
That makes my OCD very, very happy.
How come we didn't do it sooner then? We just keep forgetting?
No, I didn't know they made oversized outlet covers. I just thought it was all standard outlet covers. I didn't know that they made ones 3/8 of an inch larger. So now that's all we needed.
Is the other outlet right next to it in frame? So now are you going to be able to see one oversized and one small?
I don't believe so, no. And plus it's so far away that they almost look like, it just looks like it's supposed to be there, which makes me happy.
I think you're going to have OCD now because they're going to be different sizes.
No, because only the one outlet that has the oversized cover is in the shot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different anyway, so we're going to kind of do some things with the camera angles. Correct. I didn't want to post too much about the renovation on the story because I want it to be like a surprise everybody. We'll probably end up doing a video explaining it all in a separate one that releases during the weekend. But I wanted it to be more of a surprise, like, oh my God, this is the old stuff and now this is the new stuff, and not really doing a ton of the
in between
until that video, so they could see all in one everything that's happening.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a lot happening. It's going to be a completely different site for you guys. So just so you know, like we said, we put walls up, but that's really not where we're stopping. We're adding lights. We're adding like stuff on the walls. We're doing like a full reno. It's going to be a completely different view for all of you.
Correct. And a ceiling that's also insulated. We will not be cold ever.
Well, it's the jury's still out on that one. I don't know.
I don't think we'll be cold. That much insulation plus the heater on the wall, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be fine. But yeah, so otherwise, that was essentially our week. It was interviews. It was the construction phase for the studio. And then now it's the same stuff. We got 3 meetings, 2 interviews, episode record this week alone. We're still doing a bunch of stuff with the collab with 3Chord. So that's all still fluid and a work in progress to get the whiskey out. And then other than that, we're just flowing through content.
I counted this week. I will have spent close to 30 hours on the podcast. It's a full-time, it's not even part-time anymore. It's 6 more hours and it's considered a full-time job.
Correct. Yeah.
It's exhausting. Are you burnt out?
No, I'm not burnt out. It's just a lot to keep up with because, there's just so much stuff. And if you don't get to it, and then I do, and then vice versa, then we have to confirm that we got to it because the workload is just constantly shifting. It's like, oh, we did that, right? It's like, yeah, I did that. It's like, oh, what about this? Yeah, that's done. I go, okay, cool. I think one of the best things in the world is having some of our posts pre-scheduled. Because on Saturday, Sunday, we can do all that, and then it just goes live and we don't have to think about it, which is sweet.
Yeah, and Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah, for the Tuesday, Thursday posts.
Huge.
Yeah, that's massive.
Looking back on it this past couple of years, is there something that we do now that you wish we would have done from the start?
No, not really. Because we do everything now that we did then, but it's just fine-tuned. And it's just because it's like making a sword. Like we started with this raw piece of metal, and then we've just been hammering it, and then we're finally starting to get to a blade. We're not close yet to finishing the sword, but we're starting to make the blade, which I think is sweet.
Yeah.
And then I feel like once we're at we're making the handle for the sword now, then the whole thing is going to be a different operation.
What type of suggestions can we give to up-and-coming podcasters that want to start a podcast? Because we're nowhere near considered successful whatsoever.
Correct.
That's even making me laugh thinking about it.
Correct.
But we have been doing this for a while. Mostly our audio quality and our video quality are decent enough for people to continue listening. We have a growing audience. So we've seen people in the local area, whether it's through our business Instagram or even my personal one, people have been starting podcasts more and more. So what's something that we wish that we would have started back then that we didn't? My biggest thing is I wish that we would have invested in cameras earlier. Because
yeah, but again, not every podcast is doing cameras. So I would say, which is what I've always said, just have that outline up front of knowing what you're going to talk about, and then find kind of like a niche so it is successful ongoing. It's not just you and a buddy literally talking about nothing that no one really cares about once a week, and that's it. Like, you have to have something that you can develop and build around and off of so that it's providing multiple outlets to do cool things, but then grow upon. We pick small business. Okay, perfect. So on small business, we generate 6 to 7 posts a week every single week because of that one specific route. And then it's just becoming this huge tree full of analogies today. So yeah, I think that would be the biggest thing, is have an outline. We did, but we pivoted because of the last 2 years. But we still had an outline of, okay, this is kind of what direction we want to go in, and then we just hammered it. And then just stay consistent. That would probably be the biggest thing. But not everybody's going to record,
right. Yeah, the biggest thing is having, if you think that you have a niche is a weird term because you feel like you're pigeonholing yourself into that niche. But if you're too broad, no one's going to even watch.
Correct.
Like, you know how difficult it is to be a stand-up comedian? And basically you think that you sitting down with your buddy and cracking jokes is enough for you to maintain an audience because you're so funny. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are funny, but people aren't going to gravitate towards that. There's so many of those based podcasts that are like, we're just going to sit down and just bro it out. It's like, dude, come on, let's be realistic here. So that's why we focus primarily on whiskey as our main thing. And then small businesses is kind of an offshoot of that to continue promoting local distilleries and now local businesses.
And then the other thing too is, I would say, like, people are now starting to reach out to us, which is super strange. Like, businesses that want to start a podcast or other people that are in their profession and want to start a podcast, they've reached out and they're like, what do you recommend equipment wise? So we don't care. Like, we just give information because, like, whatever. Like, we just help everybody. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask. And then also, if you're interested in some of our old equipment, it is for sale. So we've upgraded a few times. So if you want to have, like, good quality equipment that's not broken and destroyed because we maintained everything, that'll work for you, and then give you a decent starting point, feel free to DM us, and then we can just give it to you, at a decent price. And then that way you're not breaking the bank and surfing on Amazon, and because we already did that for you. So that way we can help you kind of start and grow, and then, it is what it is.
The biggest question that I get all the time is microphones.
Yeah.
So people have to understand when you're looking at a podcast, even if it's a video podcast, if it's an audio podcast, all of it is coming through the microphone. So if you have a shitty microphone, it's not going to be a good quality podcast. I've seen people start, like you and I invested in these from the beginning because we're like, this is something we have to do.
We've never upgraded our mics yet.
No, which is
everything
awesome.
else we've upgraded.
I mean, these are good mics though. That's why.
Correct.
But like, I've seen people with like the Yeti microphone, and I watched this one podcast when it first started out, and they had a one USB microphone in the middle of the table of both of them talking. And it's like, dude, I understand that money is tight, but they've already failed and haven't continued producing a podcast because they had no listenership. Because it sounds like you're in a friggin' dungeon talking. Like, we're not in a cave. Get two microphones. If you're going to save money, get two USB microphones that are good, that are very close to you. But we always recommend XLR microphones. So these microphones here have to be either with a audio interface or a mixer like we have here. You can get USB microphones that plug directly into the computer. The audio quality isn't as good. These are more of a podcast microphone. But that's the biggest thing, is audio is obviously number one. It's a podcast. Even if it's a video podcast, half of video is audio. So you need good microphones or else you're not going to be able to be successful.
Yeah.
We're struggling on the other end with cameras because we started off on our phone, which had good video quality, but it wasn't consistent because Mike supports China and has the Apple iPhone, and I support Japan and have the Samsung phone. But we started off doing it on our phones, and then we decided to upgrade to camcorders because we thought it was going to be easier, but the camcorder quality is less quality than our phone, so now we kind of regress a little bit for the sake of convenience.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've actually gained a lot with the cameras. And it's helped us tremendously because there's a lot of tremendous people out there, trust me. And then now we're going to upgrade again when we can. Because again, we literally make $0 doing this, and the whole thing is self-funded. But yeah, when we upgrade cameras, it's going to be awesome because it's just going to boost everything. Everything about it's going to change, and I'm fired up. It's going to allow us to do more content, different kinds of content. We can throw in different lenses. It's just going to be a better picture quality. There's not going to be random blurriness just because the center focus isn't really, it's just like everything changes.
Lenses are crazy expensive. Have
Correct.
you looked?
Yeah.
They're like just as much as the camera.
Sometimes more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the lens is everything.
It's truly going to be like a $3,000 investment to get good cameras and lenses.
Which we'll see, because I'm super frugal. So I tell Derek, let's tone it down.
Yeah,
He's like, these are the ones that I want. We need these. And then I'm like, that's hilarious. We're not doing that. Okay, then we'll do these, which is basically like a year old. Like, we're literally saving 62%. So yes, we're doing those.
So it's kind of funny. So when we first starting a video podcast, the biggest thing is you need a camera to record on that doesn't have a recording limit. It's stupid. DSLR cameras, like regular point and shoot cameras, they have a recording limit set for tax purposes by the EU.
No one cares about the EU.
I know. We can go into so much detail when we get the new cameras to discuss all about it, but I was reading up on it, and they have a recording limit because of tax purposes coming out of Europe. So that's why all of American cameras have a recording limit for the most part. The ones that I was sending you don't have a recording limit, and obviously camcorders don't either. That's why we have a camcorder. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's the stupidest process. Like, why? They say it's an overheating issue, but it's not an overheating issue. They don't overheat.
It's
a
money
tax
issue.
Yeah,
it's a money issue.
It's so stupid.
Correct.
So that's why, I mean, it costs more to have a DSLR, but it's better. And then you can put lenses on it because we can't have lenses on this. And then we don't have to zoom in, get pixelated, and can start recording 4K and see all of our blemishes.
It is what it is.
Super self-conscious now.
Yeah, we'll be fine. So, yeah, in the meantime, we're chilling in the basement. What are we, 15 minutes in?
16. Look at that.
I felt that in my soul.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what are we drinking?
High West Campfire.
High West Whiskey Campfire. This is basically the whiskey that everyone's like, it's like scotch.
It is scotch. It has scotch in it.
Uh-huh. So you're making me drink moss again.
Try it out, bro.
Oh, God, I can smell it. It's peaty, dude. But it's more smoky than peaty. Mm-hmm. You know I hate both. Perfect.
Which one do you hate more?
Smoke.
Yeah. Jesus.
All right, dude. Just break your mic. After we just basically talked him up for a while about how great our equipment lasts.
Suck.
Yeah, our equipment's really not abused, and Derek's just beating it on set.
Surprisingly, it's really not abused. Like how much you and I travel and go to different places to record. We need a better carrying case. What are your thoughts?
That is something that you would want to drink in like Montana, like butane Montana.
Excuse me?
There's a city in Montana or a town. It's not butane, but it's like Butte, Montana.
Oh, yeah.
This is
not a fan?
This is a product for Derek.
You're not a fan, really?
I can drink it. I enjoy it. I feel like I would need ice.
Do you have some? You want to put some in?
I'm not a terrorist. I'm not going to add ice to a product. But yeah, this is right up your alley. Mm-hmm. Not up mine yet. I'm still on a different block.
Well, that's kind of cool. The bottom of it is kind of beveled. You see how it's going backwards? That's weird.
Bevolved. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not.
I wonder if that's like to meet 750.
It's actually good. I'm just not a huge, massive fan of the peat and the smoke. I also just don't like smoked things. Like smoked meat, it's kind of tough for me to really just like, oh my God.
You like smoke old fashioned though.
I do, but I don't. It depends on how smoky it is. If it's a quick flash, like sure, but if someone lets that thing roast, like no, I can't. I hate campfires. Like drinking and eating campfires.
I was going to say because you love fires.
Oh, I love fires, but I just hate. I don't want to eat them. I want to sit by them and stay warm.
Do you like smelling like them the next day, or do you hate it? I feel like you're super crazy about making sure you don't smell like it the day after.
I am very anal. Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah. So if I have a fire all night and I'm sitting by it, like a natty fire, not a propane heater, and I got that thing cranking, it's not my, those clothes are going to the wash.
Really?
Yeah, those clothes are going to the wash in the morning.
So everything gets caught in the beard. Food, smoke,
gross.
Everything.
So gross.
So I love having that smell captured in the beard. I bought beard oil that smells like a campfire because I love it so much.
I saw your toilet lid, dude, because it got chipped.
I was so mad.
I walked in to use the latrine, and I looked, and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, that's what, I'm like, damn.
Right?
That thing took a friggin' chunk, dude.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was intense. I was looking at it. I'm like, all right, don't cut yourself when you're trying to flush.
I did it. I cut myself on my finger right here.
So did you find? Oh my God.
Right?
So did you find out if you can get just a replacement top?
I don't think you can. I'll probably have to go.
You're buying a bidet.
No, I'm not.
This is it.
Never.
Dude, Gina's going to be all in. She's been to Europe. She understands. Would you stop? She would enjoy it.
We're not getting a bidet.
Why not?
I feel like it would be so uncomfortable.
The cost savings, dude?
For toilet paper?
Correct.
Oh, brother.
You'd save over $1,000 a year.
Is that proven?
It's simple math. Think about it. You don't need it anymore. So look at your bills and then figure out how much in toilet paper you spend a year.
I don't spend the money. Gina does.
Well, let her run the numbers, and then you'll save it. Instant. Bam. See, that's the one thing that I want to do for my next house. I want, like, the house to be geothermal heated. I want solar panels for electric. And then eventually I'll probably have a Tesla. And then with the solar panels on the roof, then I can basically just... What was that?
We weren't recording.
Shut up.
No, I'm just kidding.
What was that button?
A low cut.
A low cut?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, audio engineer.
There's a little humming going on, so I'm hoping that
It's the beer fridge in the back.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, that the low cut, it cuts out some of the low humming noise, so hopefully it doesn't come through the audio. You know what I'm saying?
See, this is why you got to upgrade your equipment, people. So anyways, if the solar panels are on the roof, then essentially that'll cut my electric bill in half because I'm getting it from the sun. And then that way, charging my Tesla would be even cheaper, you know? Because I'm just using Mother Earth.
Why would half your electric bill be gone? Why wouldn't it all be gone?
Well, because you still... I mean, it depends on how many solar panels you would have, but I don't think I would have... Plus, we live in Buffalo, bro. Like, it's not...
It's not that sunny.
Right, you know? So, even more savings. But I'm just thinking about the amount of... Especially if, you know, oil does what oil does, then I might save like $8,000 a year.
How, like, effective are solar panels? You drive by someone's house and they got 3 panels on their house. That's not doing much.
You don't know that, though.
How would that do much?
I don't know what it produces kilowatts per hour, but I'm sure it's better. I mean, better than having none, you know?
I mean, that's why you got a regular electric.
And my next house is going to have a metal roof.
Yeah, I wish. They're so expensive, though.
Well, it's a one-time buy, basically, unless you get hit with hail.
Which we do here all the time.
Not all the time. It's based on area.
Dude, there's golf ball size hails coming down.
Tone down. Goodness. You act like it's just, oh, it's Wednesday, here it comes.
Yeah, I have a hole in my deck from one piece of hail.
Right. Well, probably because it was dry rotted from the termites you had.
Wouldn't that be crazy if there's hail coming down that's like the size of a baseball?
It happens.
Not here.
Well, correct, but Midwest, Texas, all that stuff.
Why? Why do you think they get more hail than we do? Hail. Praised hail.
Why do you ask these questions like I know?
I don't know, dude.
Get out of your mind.
I'm trying to like get you thinking, you know? I feel like you're not thinking much.
Oh, perfect. Thanks. That's probably one of the nicest things you've ever said to me. I need you to think. Here's a crossword. I hate crossword puzzles.
Did you ever used to do them when you were younger?
The easy ones. Damn you give him all the easy ones. But yeah,
He popped on the I used to do them all. That was mine and my grandfather's thing. I would go over there and we would do the crossword puzzle together. And I remember he would always say, like, I would ask him, hey, Grandpa, what's a, like, before I even knew anything, like a synonym to dialectic? It's not even a word. I'm like, what's the synonym to this? And he's like, this is it. And I'm like, why? What does it mean? And he goes, does it fit? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, that's the answer. I'm like, I know, but what does it mean? He's like, does it fit? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's the answer. He would never explain anything to me. He would just tell me what the answer is and never explain it.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts. Because I would just sit there and ask why.
But I used to do them every day. So back when I was a manager at Tops, I used to go up into the break room all the time. And I would do the crossword puzzle every day. I got real good at them.
What are you, 80?
Dude, I was manager at Tops. That's what we have to do to keep our minds going. Read the newspaper. Do flash out the newspaper. Read it a little bit. Do the crossword and the Sudoku. What are your thoughts on Sudoku?
No. I don't.
Word find?
Yeah, Word Find's my jam. I don't do Sudoku. We won the war, so I'm not going to play their games. So yeah, I'll find some words, but I'm not all about Sudoku. It's like impossible. It's like playing Minesweeper on Windows 98.
Okay, but
no one knows what the hell that is.
I do.
You know how to play.
Yeah, I actually have it downloaded on my phone.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Since when?
Since I got the phone. You want to play a game right now, real quick, on air?
No.
Just kidding.
How do you play?
Have it, actually?
I just click all the gray boxes until I explode, and then I like plant a flag like I'm being strategic. I don't know what's going on.
Just put the flag down.
Yeah, if I'm standing on it, it's America.
So you have the grid, and the first click is mostly always luck. Like you never know where the bombs are for the first click. The bombs. So you click it, and then it sprawls out all these numbers. Mm-hmm. And then the numbers indicate how many bombs there are around that number. So if you picture this, so you click on something and there's like a little like island here.
Picture this. What are we, an elf with a book pitch?
What? It's a common phrase, Michael. Picture this.
Please tell me you've seen Elf.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, remember when the little person comes in for the book reading and he keeps saying, "Picture this." So anyway, so if
Does Santa know you're here?
He must be at South Pole. So if I click a gray box and it's got nothing but ones around it, I'm screwed. Basically, just don't click anywhere around there.
That's where you put the flag. So you put the flag wherever the bombs are.
Okay.
So if you have if you click one, imagine this is going to be super good for our audio listeners. But imagine you have a square, okay?
Yeah.
You click on the first box up there, and then it comes out, and there's one box next to it, one, and then this one's still untouched.
Yeah.
That's the bomb. And then since you have a 1 down here, you know that this one next to it is not a bomb because you just clicked the only bomb next to it. So the number that you have there is how many bombs are around there, and as long as you have a bomb. The same number of bombs. This is going to get demonetized real quick. I've said bomb way too many times. As soon as you have the same number of the number to the number of bombs around it, you can start clicking the other ones away. I'll show you, dude. We'll play competitively. Do you like chess or anything? Chess or checkers? What type of game do you like? Are you a fun guy or what? What's going on?
What is this? 21 questions about games? I like games. I like football.
Well,
Can Jam's not bad if I'm with the
I'm
guys.
saying board games or mind games. Not Can Jam.
Hold on. Hey, babe, 1 second. Ticket to Ride. Ticket to Ride's that good one. That's a good board game. It's real strategic.
I've never heard of that before.
You've never played Ticket to Ride? Okay, well, for those that are normal, Ticket to Ride, that's a good game.
Ticket to Ride?
Yeah. Oh, also,
what type of game is that? Shoots and ladders? Are we talking?
Eels. No, okay, so that's a SpongeBob reference.
Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, hold
board
on.
Game, okay.
I'm trying to explain. Stop over talking. Okay, so imagine the board. You unfold the board, okay? You're not even looking at me.
I'm looking at the game.
Yeah, so you open the board, okay, and it's Earth, and it's basically like a Pangea thing. So you remember what Pangea is? You went to school. So
debatable.
Right. So then you have different routes, okay? They're all different colors, and then you pick what.
I feel like this is like Catan or Catan.
Let me explain before I lose my train of thought. So say you're the red train and I'm the green train, okay? You then get cards, and then your card dictates the route that you have to take. Like, hey, you have to go from point A to point B, this city to this city, figure out how you're going to get there. And then you roll your dice, and then that's how many slots that you can basically move your train, and it's like Snake. You're developing your Snake. And then your second card is, if you have time, you basically have to do these tasks. And then at the end of the game, the person with the longest continuous train wins. If you went from if you did complete point A to point B, and then you basically created a blockade with other train pieces to stop them, then you get points. And then if you have time card, you get more points. So you're basically trying to complete your own tasks while blocking everybody else. It's amazing.
So you don't like chess or checkers?
No, I'm cool with checkers. Chess, I'm not I enjoy and respect chess. I've just never sat down to really fully understand it. Backgammon was a game I used to play all the time with my dad.
Hell yeah.
Back in the South Buffalo days. And then what's that other game that we've recently talked about where you got it's like plates and then you're
Diner Dash?
no, goofball.
You got plates.
No, I'm sorry. The entire board is playing cards, and then you have little discs, and then you put that on your playing card. And there's duplicates.
Starts with an S.
Yeah, it's whatever the hell that game is. That's gonna bother you. Try to look that up because I don't know what that's
Sequence.
called. Sequence.
Nailed
Thank
it.
you. So that
Didn't even have to look it up.
that game I like too. I mean, we have board game nights. We'll host. Vaccinated, not vaccinated, we don't care. So we'll host, and then from there we'll do. It's already been 30 minutes.
Sure has.
We don't show up on this podcast. So we'll host. We'll do dinner, and then after dinner we'll do a quick dessert, and then it's game time. And then who's ever over, we'll just play games and then drink and hang out and then fall asleep. And then Kelly's never lose. Throw the team on my back, dude, and that's it.
Do you like card games, or are you more of a board game?
No, the Army made me a card game fan.
What's your favorite card game?
I still love Texas Hold'em. I love that game. But Spades is always good, just to get a quick couple games in. War is always good. Playing War with your military coins is amazing.
Yeah.
So that's really fun too, because then you can basically just throw it down and then tell them like you're not even in the same league, private, you know. So, but yeah, that's a good one. What about you? I'm trying to think of what else. Rummy's not bad.
Yeah, Rummy's
a lot
not
of
bad.
people like Rummy, but what?
We do this thing called golf.
What about Egyptian Cat Screw?
Are you just making stuff up now?
No, that's an actual card game. You never
Never
played the
heard of
game?
it, no.
Okay, so what about golf?
It's
Oh, it's you play 18, and then your deck of cards is basically how far, or your cards is how far your shot was, or something.
close. We play, so it's I mean, I don't really even know why it's called golf. I think there's just 18 rounds. But what it is it's you put down 6 cards, like 1, 2 here, 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2 here. And then you flip 2 cards over, and your objective is to get the lowest score possible. So I guess that's probably why it's called golf too. And same number of cards cancel each other out, and whatever you have left at the end of the round is your score. So if I have a queen and a jack here, and then I flip these over, these are queen and jack, then they cancel each other out. But there's also a deck in the middle that you can draw from and then replace certain cards and everything, and there's wilds and everything like that. It's pretty fun.
So, are you telling our listeners that you like to go 18 rounds?
I do.
Are you saying that you can go all day?
I am. Hell yeah. We can go all day long.
Well, good deal.
Yeah, it's fun. So what's this other game that you were talking about?
Egyptian Cat Screw?
Egyptian, yeah.
Yeah, that's a game I used to play in like freshman, sophomore year of high school. So 2006, 2007 timeframe. I don't even remember the rules.
Oh, really?
It was just an actual game. And then we used to have...
Egyptian Cat Screw.
Yeah, what the hell are those things called?
Does Google even know what this is?
Oh, I'm sure. It knows everything. Also, fun fact, if you were born before the year 2004, you are older than Google.
I don't know why you told me that the other day. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on.
I love fun facts. Trivia is not bad, but I like fun facts.
Have you ever played Jackbox TV?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, we played
Egyptian
on my buddy's
Rat
house.
Screw,
There it is. See, I knew it was an animal. With 3 letters.
also known as Slap, Egyptian Rat Killer, Egyptian War, or ERS, is a card game of the matching family of games. All right. Well, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but interesting. It's a French deck. I don't even know what that. There's French cards.
I don't know. They're probably always retreating. So let's dive into the cocktail.
Cocktail. We didn't even talk about the whiskey yet.
That's what I'm saying. The cocktail that we're having. Because this is not a normal. This isn't normal. There's too many things at work.
Okay, so
So let's dive into the whiskey section.
all right. So today, episode 84, we're drinking one of High West Distillery's products. So this product itself is called Campfire, and you're probably wondering why it's called Campfire. Go back to the beginning of the episode to where Mike almost threw up because it tastes like smoke.
Okay, so High West, Chevy, Campfire, Malibu.
What?
Right? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. High West is the distillery.
Yep. Campfire
And
is the name of
Campfire
the
is the
product.
brand of it. Yep.
Oh.
So this is a 92 proof. So it's lower than our normal typical proof. But I think it's very good. So in 2016, they won Distiller of the Year by Whiskey Advocate. Not this specific whiskey, but Distiller of the Year. Company background. So High West Distillery was founded in 2006 by David Perkins and his wife, Jane Ann Perkins. David was inspired to open his own distillery after a trip to Maker's Mark Distillery in Loretto, Kentucky in 2001, and noticing similarities between the distilling and fermentation process in his previous life as a biochemist.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You know that they're very similar, right?
Super. Goodness.
In 2004, the Perkins family, Ann Perkins, relocated to Park City, Utah, where they began distilling in 2007.
Sounds like Eagleton.
Right? Those Pawnee folks hate that Park City place. They chose Park City because of David's love for the Old West and Utah's little-known whiskey history. Do not have any trivia on the Utah whiskey history, but we just have to try more Utah products then. Have you heard of High West before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had it before or no?
One of their other products, but not this. Their, what was it? Because somebody recommended this, and then somebody recommended one of their other products that we did have.
I've never had a High West outside of this.
Oh, really?
They have a rye and they have a bourbon. It's called Brary bourbon or something like that.
I believe their rye is what I had, and I think it was at a buddy's house.
I should have probably looked up their products. All right, I'll do that after this. So,
I got it.
okay, so in 2007, High West began on a small 250-gallon still and saloon in historic livery stable and garage. In 2015, High West opened their distillery in Wanship, Utah, which has a space for educational whiskey tasting, pairings, tours, and houses a 1,600-gallon still, copper pot still. 1,600-gallon copper pot still. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's huge.
The saloon still operates as a gastro distillery, which features an Alpine-inspired Western fare with the original still operational. It's pretty sick.
Okay.
So this Campfire Whiskey, here's a little bit about this. So this is a blend whiskey that is blended with bourbon, rye, and Islay Scotch.
Damn.
So that's why you're getting all of these stuff. So the idea is said to come from when David and his wife, Ann Perkins, were on a trip to Islay, Scotland, and visited the Bruichladdich distillery. The syrup the distillery used for breakfast had a peated taste to it, which sparked his idea to think of blending the peaty Scotch with sweet bourbon they already made. So their syrup that they made had a little bit of that like mossy, earthy tone to it. So he said, wouldn't it be a good idea, since I love this so much, is pair this with our very sweet whiskey to get the same taste and flavor that I'm getting right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Did you have the other products?
Yeah, and it was not what I was thinking. I, for some odd reason, was thinking High West Rye was New Riff Rye, and
gotcha.
It's not.
Yeah.
Two totally separate entities.
Yeah, New Riff, I think, is a
Kentucky.
Heaven Hill product, right?
Yeah, Kentucky.
So basically they decided that they're going to try, they're a very innovative distillery. That's really what it comes down to.
High West?
This is something that was never thought of before, to blend these two together, or these three together, because it's bourbon, rye, and Scotch. And what they do is they place it in heavily charred French and Hungarian oak casks.
Of course it's Hungarian.
So think about this for a second. Think of how innovative this is. If you would have just talked about blending a bourbon product and a rye product together, that's pretty cool. Like, we would have talked about that. Now think of adding Islay Scotch in with that too. We probably would have talked about that. Like, that's pretty sweet.
Do you know the percentage of each?
No.
Is it secret? The Krusty Krab formula?
Maybe we should get Plankton on the case. I'm not. They didn't say it. I don't know if it's secretive or they just didn't say it, so it's secret. But marrying the three together is super
Rare.
Yeah, it never happened. And now they're aging it in Hungarian oak casks, which again, Hungarian oak by itself would have got us to talk about it. This is pretty crazy. They're very innovative. But what they did was they took the barrels of each, and then instead of just blending them into a bottle, they blended them into a Hungarian oak barrel and let that sit to get all of that melded together and come into one product at the end. It's crazy.
So they put them all in the same barrel, you said? For how long?
It didn't say that.
Okay.
So the bourbon and rye are both MGP products.
Okay.
And then the third part is a peaty Islay Scotch. So they didn't say the exact distillery it came from.
Right.
Yeah. It is a blended Scotch, so it probably comes from more than one distillery. But it's interesting. So, yeah, that's really it. It's very, very interesting. It has a very unique nose to it. There's a lot of flavors that you're picking up. And that rye, or that peat and smoke and charred wood is very prevalent.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. I feel like it very, very fitting for the name. Well, let's rate this thing.
Let's do it.
Oh, my God. You're so annoying.
I know. I get that a lot. All right, so.
Only for me.
Yep, and Gina. All right, so. No, I'm just kidding. So, High West Whiskey. Here we go. So, label branding. What do you got? I like that it has the old-time Westy look to it. It has a yellow or a worn and abused paper color to their label. It's not like white and it's not yellow. It looks like it's an old piece of paper.
It's the old school Western wanted poster.
Yep, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
The High West, the text is really cool. They have to put in what type of whiskey it is because since it's not technically considered bourbon and it's not technically considered rye and scotch, like it's not any of that. They had to basically call out on the label that it's made with straight rye whiskey, straight bourbon whiskey, blended malt scotch whiskey. So it has all that on the label.
Wow.
The back of it says, I was going to write something cheesy about cowboys, campfires, and whiskey, but I figured you might be more interested in how campfire whiskey came to be. One morning at the Brooklotic Distillery, B&B, my wife and I smelled peat in the air. The great ladies that made our meals were simmering a bottle of peated whiskey and sugar. Later that night, they brought out dessert of ripe honeydew drizzled with the peated syrup. This was the most unusual, delicious, and memorable ending to a dinner I've ever had. The combination of melon, sweet smoke really worked, so naturally, I thought why not mix these sweet bourbon and peat? The main flavor, or melody, is sweet honey from the ripe bourbon. The enhancing flavor, or harmony, is floral fruity spice from a mature rye whiskey. The accent, Satchmo's gravely voice, don't know what reference that is from is smoke from the peated Scotch whiskey. The proportions, top secret. There you go, top secret.
Gotcha. Okay.
Campfire is carefully crafted from source whiskeys. See highwest.com for details. So, as the sun sinks low and the cold settles in, grab a bottle of Campfire whiskey and gather round the blazing fire to warm up. Wind down your day, share stories, and deepen friendships. One taste of this sweet, spicy, and yes, smoky whiskey, you'll know how it got its name. We like to enjoy Campfire whiskey with s'mores or good-looking strangers. If you find yourself in Old Town Park City, you ought to come out to visit High West Distillery and Saloon and get a taste of our Western hospitality and our crowd-pleasing victuals.
I have a feeling their tasting room is really cool.
Oh, yeah. It has to be super, like, old saloony. Not chill filtered, no color or flavor added. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks like an old High West's home in historic Old Town Park City and the world's only ski-in gastro distillery. That's pretty sick. You can ski right into it. There's like an oil thing in the back too. It looks really sweet. So yeah, I also do like, I wonder if this angle down here is because when they made this bottle and it's like long neck and high profile, it came out to be like 800 milliliters and they're like, shit, we got to figure something out. I wonder if that's the case because I don't see another reason for this. So it has High West on the actual bottle itself, raised, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And then in the back it says Park City, Utah, A+.
Yeah, they actually put way more into this than most people think. So I agree. Plus,
agree.
their picture too for the campfire is pretty spot on.
Yeah. It looks like I just want to go home and play Red Dead right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So nose. What do you got on the nose?
Smoke, peat, more smoke and peat. And then it kind of finishes with smoke and peat. So, but you do smell sugar as well, like grain sugar.
Yeah. It hits you in the face with the smoke and the peat because it's something that you're not used to smelling. But,
well, yeah, I don't wake up and smell this like you do.
I mean, yeah.
You're fired up.
Basically throw it in my coffee every morning. I do not, if anyone from my work is listening, but maybe I do. So on the nose, you're getting a little bit of smoke and peat, but there's like an underlying melon or butterscotch that I'm getting. Like secondary to that.
I'm getting more butterscotch than I am melon. And it's
like a fresh fruit.
I'm not getting that.
No.
I'm getting butterscotch, smoke peat, and wood sugar. Like granule sugar in between that.
So
nose
on the nose, are you getting more bourbon, rye, or scotch?
Scotch.
Okay.
And I respect this nose. I always talk smack about peat and smoke because it's not my favorite. However, I appreciate the work that goes into making this product what it is. And it is a nice experience of smelling it because, again, I I do like campfires, but you're also picking up things that you're traditionally not getting with other products, and I do like that. So for me, I'm going with an A.
So think of this.
Picture this.
Yeah, picture this. Nope, put it down. Smell your arm.
I'm smelling it.
I'm going to give you a layout, and you need to picture it while you smell. Okay? All right, you just had the first fire of the season, and it's getting dewy on the ground as the night comes to an end. And then...
You want me to close my eyes, too?
I do, actually. I'll tell you a sweet bedtime story. So after the fire is done, you put it out with water, and you get that, like, old, charred, damp wood. Smell it.
Yeah.
It's that place.
You're not wrong.
Like, this put me back into spring of last year. Because I haven't had a fire yet this year.
Well, it sounds like a you problem.
Right.
You should tonight. It's what you should do, because it's going to rain for the next 3 days.
Listen, it's a work night. But yeah, that's what I'm getting on a nose. This is like an old campfire.
Yeah, I'm with you.
As cheesy as that sounds, this is called campfire. That's what it basically smells like.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm still with an A.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so A plus A, initial taste. I get kind of a cherry. I still don't get melon.
No.
I do get smoke. Obviously, I do get peat. And then I still get the wood sugar. And a cherry. Not the cherry you get in cocktails. Whatever the M word is.
Maraschino.
Yeah, those. Not like a normal cherry that you would...
So on the initial taste, are you getting more bourbon, rye, or scotch?
A blend between rye and scotch for me. I still don't really get the bourbon. I don't know where it is. I'm trying to find it.
I like that the nose is appealing enough to sip it, but for somebody that's not a scotch drinker, the sip is inviting to them.
Especially if someone smokes meat. Because then this is right up their alley. And if someone likes smoky things, they're like, yes, this is a really cool experience. Again, I'm just not fully there yet.
So I can kind of pick up like a little toffee and nutmeg in there too. I
don't get that in the initial taste. No. For me, that's why I was waiting for the ending note. But I do get toffee. I do get nutmeg. But that's all initial taste.
I get what you're saying.
Or that's all ending note. That's not initial taste. The initial taste is very intense with, for me, the aforementioned notes, and that's about it. But the ending note dissipates, and then the lingering after effects of it is when I'm picking up a little bit of vanilla, some honey, toffee, nutmeg. It's kind of like a really cool blend that you want to dive into this. This is something that you would for sure sip at a fire. Also, again, as cheesy as that is, but just because it'll open the longer it sits. And I think the more this opens, say I add a drop of water, it'll open up the ending note. It's not going to do anything for the initial taste, and obviously certainly won't do anything for the nose.
Yeah.
But this has levels. It's very dynamic. It's not one-dimensional. There's tiers to this.
So let me ask you now. So initial taste, I agree with your cherries. I'm getting kind of like a blueberry, like a darker fruit type initial taste.
Okay.
So initial taste, what are you getting it? A? Are you going B? I'm probably going to go A.
No, I'm a B, just because it's the upfront.
I'm a B.
Right. It's just the initial like blast of. Ugh. But then when that goes away, then it's like, well, hold on, there's more to this, and then that kind of elevates the experience again for someone that's not fully invested in smoke and peat. And it kind of like this makes you happy. This makes you feel like a man. You know, when you drink it, you're like, ugh. So more mead.
Ending note. What are you getting for the ending note? We kind of talked about it.
Yeah,
what is your rating?
Ending note, I'm going A. Flat A. Nothing after it. But yeah, and I'm gonna go B check mark on the initial taste. So
ending note. Is it more Scotch, rye, or bourbon for you?
The ending note is where you get the bourbon. But it's not the ending note. It's after the ending note. It's what lingers in your sinus cavity and on the back of your tongue. And towards the center of your tongue, it kind of just sits in like a little pool of glorious nectar.
So from our sipping, we would say that it probably smells and initial tastes like Scotch.
Yep.
And then as it goes through that initial taste progression and into the ending note, you get that rye.
Yep.
And then as it ends the ending note and follows down your throat and kind of stays and lingers in your mouth, you're getting the bourbon.
Yes.
You could say, when I first had this, I thought that the ending note was very dry. But that could be, and bland. But that could be because the initial taste and the nose are so punchy that when it sits on your tongue after, it doesn't taste like the same punchiness that the initial taste was. So it can give off that perception of being a little weak. But as you drink more of this and more of that stays on your tongue and you keep flushing it down, it brings out that like vanilla, your typical ending note for bourbon.
I agree.
I agree. All right, so I'll give it an A for the ending note. Okay. I like that too.
Final rating.
3, 2, 1.
Well, hold on. I didn't tell you. I didn't say give me that countdown, dude. Jumping the gun. No pun intended. All right. Give me that countdown.
3, 2, 1. 91.5. Come on, dude.
90.
No.
Perfect. What is it?
Keep going. Come on. You got this. I got to figure it out myself.
Is it a 90.5?
89.75.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right?
89.75.
89.75. Right? 88. 91. Yeah, 89.75.
Okay. That's the first 0.75 we've ever had in our show in 84 episodes.
I don't think so. I think we've done a 0.5 and a 0, like the next one up.
What?
Yes.
You're the worst.
But yeah, so that is our review of High West Campfire Whiskey. I do not know. I can look it up, though.
Like ballpark numbers in the...
Probably $30 to $100, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that works. That works. I'm sure that people will love that range.
Yeah. Just Googling it right now. High West at our friends over at I Drink Kosher, which is not what I want to look at. Hold on. Let me check too. Eddie's Fine Wine and Spirits. What do they have this at? They probably have it somewhere. It's probably like around $50 to $60.
Okay.
I enjoy it. I like that mix of Scotch in with the sweetness of the bourbon. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think it's a very good pair. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I will say, if I was to... Eddie's doesn't have it in stock. So probably like $50 to $60. I would say, though, if I wanted Scotch, it's kind of like an all-season tire. You get what I'm saying? Like, all-season tires are good for any time that you want. But if you want a winter tire, you should go with a winter tire. If you want a summer tire, you should go with the summer tire and swap them out. So what I would say is for the $60, I would probably still go Scotch, and I would probably still go bourbon. And then drink those when I feel like not mixing them. It's a very innovative idea. I love it, and it's good for entry-level Scotch drinkers to get into it. But I will say I would rather prefer a regular Scotch.
Right. I'm with you.
Cool.
Boom. So that's our review of High West Campfire.
Nailed it.
Right, so,
Mike?
Next week, we have another, was that 45?
It was supposed to be the 45, but it's actually 54.
Oh, goodness. Mega fan's going to get real upset. So next week, we have another product that we're going to try. So we'll just keep rolling on this train.
Do we already have it?
Forcing me into products that I'm not necessarily ready for, but we'll just dive into them because what else are we going to do?
Do we already have a product picked out?
Yeah.
Actually?
You sent me a list of 4. We're just going to crush them. And I'm just going to put up with it.
They're mostly all Scotch. Well, that's just what I have in my house that I haven't drank yet because I'm not a lush. Where I'm just pounding this
Look
stuff.
at my collection behind you. Stuff to... Dude, I still got Icebreaker. I still have Cooperstown. I still have both St. Lawrence. Haven't even opened the Blantons. Buffalo Trace not even open.
Did you save the bottle for Bland's or the box for Bland's or no?
I didn't get one.
Oh, sucks for you, nerd.
Long story about that bottle. So that'll be open when I have a newborn. But
if that, I wouldn't waste it on a kid.
Right. I'm not going to waste it on a daughter, I'll tell you that. So anyways, all right, guys, that's it for us on episode 84. 84. Wow. All right.
We're coming close to that 100. What are we going to do?
You already know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to ball out for episode 100.
Oh, okay. Ball out, okay.
So no,
just do the whole episode hammered.
I mean, I think
that would be kind of funny.
I think what people need to do is rewatch our steak episode because we literally forced steaks down our throat. Now I'm hungry for meat.
Because what we're having tonight is steaks.
No comment.
So excited.
No pause. Yeah, steaks are awesome. I'm having venison stuffed peppers.
Ooh, that's good too.
Yeah.
Ground venison?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, guys. So subscribe on YouTube if you have not. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on all content that we push out. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is Buffalo Happy Hour 12. Facebook is Buffalo Happy Hour. We are growing on Instagram every day. We are very active on Instagram in regards to our story use. Facebook just gets the same post that Instagram does, but Instagram is no doubt our most primary platform. So we appreciate any and all support thus far. We do have content coming out where we have a couple collabs in the work that I think is going to be unique and fun for everybody involved. It's
Unique New York.
Unique New York. It's not the status quo content where we're like, oh, we got some cool stuff. Like, no, there's some parties. So we're fired up for that. Be on the lookout on our Instagram for the studio as well. And then we will see you guys next week for episode 85, where Derek forces me to drink more scotch. So, go Bills.
Sounds like a good time to me.
Well, yeah.
All right, everybody, please drink responsibly, be a good person. And Michael,
do not litter.
We're out.